for the Upper House Hong Kong as a people development intern, and before my internship starts, I had set up a few learning objectives to do with. But during the internship, I had revised twice because I want to ensure those learning objectives is specific enough for me to do with. So now let's see how I met my learning objective during my internship. The Upper House Hong Kong is also one of the companies that include many different nationalities working together. And I think this is really the best environment for me to improve my English communication skills throughout the learning objective. And foreigners everywhere in the upper house, from the interns or even the manager levels. And my manager is also Canadian, so I need to talk with her sometime in English. And for mostly, I need to book an interview for the department heads, and most of the department head is foreigners as well, so I need to talk with them by phone in English to confirm the interview time. But not only speaking, written is also a really important element to improve the skills. And sometimes for PD teams, I need to send out really important notifications to all colleagues by English as well. So I think this is really a great challenge for my English skills and also grammar skills. Objective, I think I have already achieved starting from the very beginning of my internships, because regarding to my manager's comments on the evaluation form and between midterms and also the end of the internships, and she also mentioned that I'm diligent and very willing to learn. It is because sometimes I have nothing to do because I already finished my work or job duties, and I want to share the workload with my other full-time colleagues, and I will ask them if they have anything that I can help them to do. And for the other example, sometimes I need to design a poster for some activities or internal games, and I will like to design 3 or 4 more extra with different style poster for them to select the right or the proper one that they expect they can use. So I think I really paid a lot of effort and also passion in it. Remember that my hotel's any parties themed to be movie nights, while they have different movie characters were coming to the party. But because any party is one of the biggest internal activities in the hotels, so they have lots of expectation, which lead me to want to try my best to have a well organizations and do a best any party in the hotels. So starting from the preparations, the rundown action plans, and also the purchasing the stuff, and of course the games. And for the games, we have different selections according to our colleagues' votes. They have the Pokemon Go, which is one of the most famous mobile games, and also we have movie Q&A, question and answer, and with Chinese version and English version in case of the cultural differences. So in the party, we can see the satisfactions from our staff, their face, they're laughing, and also they're really crazy in the games. So we think that the any party is really well organized, and we really enjoyed with the party, and it is really a memorable and enjoyable party in my life. So I think I do satisfied with this objective in the internship. For this last learning objective, I know that it is really hard to achieve because I think just looking at the job description is not enough to understand what is the management role really is, instead of like when I really do a management trainee role. But however, I met a girl which was our hotel management trainee, and she followed strict directs to the director of food and beverage, and sometimes she will share how she works and what is her duties and how heavy she workload is. So basically I have a briefly understanding about the management role, which is really hard and really need more ability to handle. But one more thing, because like director of F&B, it is like a frontline operation role, but it's not only in charge of operations frontline, but also they need to have some administrative, for example like the performance review for the staff and also the department report, they also need to in charge with it. So I think this is part of the management role. They have lots of abilities, no matter like to guests or like to the department, the other department head or to the GM, they need to have a lots of workload to do. And I think this learning objective I can keep going on until maybe I graduate and I going forward to the management trainee, then I can learn more about it. During the internship I had learned a lot, and this is the very first time that I think an administrative department can also be fun. For example, during the internship I had create more than 30 posters, and also I had like in charge of 6 monthly new for the colleagues. So it is really a creative work to do. And apart from the creative work, I also have learn some related to the HR knowledge, which is, for example, to determine which is the good CV and which is not, and also how to communicate with different candidates with more proper tones and also more polite tone as well. So I think those abilities of handling these job duties, the credit is to the core classes, like especially the event classes, because like Mr. Lecopenist, he told me about how to have a detail oriented to every single part of an event or even a small activities as well, and how to be creative and how to attract more people to participate in it as well. So I think core classes really help me a lot to gain the abilities to work in this position. I believe having abilities to brainstorm the ideas could be a big help for me in my third year academics. Apart from this one, I think also because I chose to study events at school, so having experience to help for any party in hotel can also help me to gain confidence to work and to help for the event at school, which is word of hospitality as well. Working for this kind of boutique hotel, like they have not much staff and then we are close together like a families, I think it is really good, and I really enjoy working with the PD teams with only 2 colleagues in the team. But however, there still have some work conflict may occur for sure, and I think the most biggest reason that related to the conflict occurred is because of the generation differences and also the work experience differences. We often had many different ideas based on the activities that we were going to hold, and because all the details need to be discussed, so the work conflict will occur. For example, the last time that before I left my internship and I need to think of the Chinese New Year games to celebrate this festival, and then I think of like 8 ideas, different games ideas, but they all banned by them, because I think part of them, like I said, generation problem, because like they are much more like a conservative, but I think creative, and because we have so many young blood in our hotel, so I think the game shouldn't like repeat what we done before. So this is one of the conflicts. Because of the game details were complex, so like sometimes before we will discuss the game together in my manager's room, but now like after the end of my internships and when we have the conflicts and I didn't even ask to go inside to the room and discuss together, instead they will like close the door to discuss themselves. So afterwards I will like feel a little bit down and also feel diaphragm between me and them. One more example is like I'm in charge of the internship applications and there are many email in the mailbox of the internships, so I need to determine whether which one we need to progress and which one we don't need to progress to go to the second choice, and I will use the color sign instead to put it right middle of the email. And sometimes because my colleagues will check the mailbox as well, and they will feel a little bit messy because they think that different color will look messy. So they talk with me and try to lead me to what they usually will do with the intern applications. But because I'm in charge of it and I think I do understand what I'm doing, and I would like to stable with what I'm doing instead of like changing starting from the beginning of my internship and like 4 or 5 months afterwards. So that's why maybe my attitude is really stubborn, so they will not really agree with what I react. But however, apart from this conflict, I really work well with these PD teams and I really enjoy the days in the upper house, and I think it is really a good opportunities for me to learn a lot and to enhance my personalities in this last and also my second internship as well. So thank you so much.